are you doing out here?
Just sucking today's dick. Doesn't pay nothing but sucking.
Can I confess something to you?
You want to nut in my mouth?
I have AIDS.
Ooh, what's this? A frame rate video? After another frame rate video? This quick?
What's going on? I saw the thumbnail and it said, what?
This movie doesn't come out till October 12th. How did frame rate do this? I'll tell you why. Because we own Hollywood now, folks. Thanks to your subscriptions, we actually got free screening tickets because we are just so good at what we do here. They're just like, please come watch our movie.
We just watched Bad Times at the El Royale.
For you, immature. For you,
Yes.
Kronos. Look at this. And look at that. This perfectly describes our thoughts on this movie. We are torn. I don't know exactly how I feel. This movie was good. Like, in a lot of ways, this was actually great. But when you walk out of the theater, you're just like, wait, I think something's missing. Let's get this out of the way. It's a good movie. I think you should watch this movie. Compared to everything that's been coming out these past couple months, come on. There's not even a competition. It's up there. It's so much better in so many different ways. But when you compare it to other movies that are in the genre, you can tell this is so inspired by Hateful Eight. Like, there's so many things, but without the amazing writing Tarantino offers. But that doesn't mean this movie has bad writing, because it doesn't. It has great writing. But if you're gonna do a movie with this kind of style, you need the writing to be tip-top, huckety-notch. And this movie doesn't reach that all the time. There's certain aspects, certain parts you're like, yes! And so other aspects you're like, it's starting to slow down, the pacing kind of falls off.
In my opinion, this is a love child between Tarantino and the Coen brothers, more specifically Tarantino's film style mixed with Coen brothers' style of writing. It's like that child grew up and made a film that just didn't live up to the hype of his parents. That being said, like he said, it was still great. It still deserves to be watched. Artistically, it's great. Cinematography, directing, acting, writing, everything, it's great. It was just something. And I think it's like he was saying, it's like it's so reminiscent of more specifically Tarantino that I started craving Tarantino. And I think maybe that's what the biggest problem is. I think it was so replicated of Tarantino's style that I wanted Tarantino. It didn't have the director's true style.
But the director here, Drew Goddard, does a good job. He should be praised. Yeah. It's not easy to replicate a director like Tarantino, and he pulls it off for the most part.
I mean, you can't rip him for it either because Tarantino himself rips everything.
Yeah. The pacing is, I think, the worst culprit in this movie. You know, even with Hateful Eight, I found the pacing to be slow, but that's where the great Tarantino writing and style comes in, helps alleviate that. But here, man, I really think this movie could have been like 20 minutes shorter. There's not a single performance here that's bad. Even Dakota Johnson does a good job. It's just, I think her character was very under the belt. She was definitely the weakest link in this movie. Her character lacked the depth that the other characters had. Jeff Bridges and John Hamm, definitely the stars of the movie. I love them. Each character has like a little background to them, which I all love. But at the very end of this movie, there's a climax happening, right? And Drew, this guy, he's like, oh, here's another character, here's another background. Completely throws you off of the scene. It takes you out. It's like it puts you in another movie for like 4 minutes. And it actually hurts the character's arc, in my opinion. If he didn't have that background, I think this character's arc would have been more meaningful, would have felt more completed.
I was slightly disappointed in Chris Hemsworth. The trailer got me excited for his character. I was just like, ooh, this is just gonna be a wacky character. I really love and respect the fact that Chris Hemsworth isn't letting Marvel Disney hold him down from doing proper acting roles and participating in movies that has balls.
Like, characters die pretty regularly throughout the movie, which was a huge plus for me. This movie did not hold back on that. But again, the actual deaths. Oh, you think back to Hateful Eight, you think back to Tarantino, like, oh, it could have been so much cooler, so much more bloodier. But it's still good! You're still like, good job! I didn't see that death coming so soon, but then you're just like, Tarantino! It's all about enjoyment for me, and I just like, I liked it, but not enough! It's one of the worst offenders for me of a movie that could have been so good that it hurts me that's not. It's like seeing your kid, and he's just out on the fucking soccer field. You can tell he's fucking sweating and running, and he's showing like he has skills, but then every time a ball gets to his feet and he kicks it, he's hitting crossbars. As a parent, you're like, he can do it! He can do it! But he misses it sometimes, and you're just like, God damn it, he's not getting the scholarship. He's not going there. Let's talk about the actual climax of the movie. How about that? The ending. I enjoyed it. But again, it just could have been more.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you can make this argument about every movie ever. It could have been, every movie can technically be better.
But it can be better if it adds a lot of aspects that were never in the movie to begin with. This movie started out with everything it needed to be amazing. It just wasn't executed perfectly.
It just didn't resonate. It didn't hook for some reason. And we're not smart. My IQ is only 147, you know? I can't describe it. Like,
idiot.
if I was like 200, maybe I could convey my message more. But you know what I think it is? I think Drew maybe just bit off more than he could chew. You know, he's like, I could do a Tarantino style movie. And he bit it. And he was chewing it. And he's like, I gotta spit some of this out. I can't fully commit. Rating time!
I'm gonna give this movie, once again, a not so confident 7 out of 10. It was held back by the replication of a greater director. And it made me want to watch a Tarantino film. It got to the point where I no longer wanted to watch this film. I just wanted it to turn to a Tarantino film. And I think that was the biggest problem. It was held back by that aspect. I'm excited for what it does in the future, but this movie could have been so much more. But if it was so much more, that means it was a Tarantino film because it was so heavily replicating Quentin Tarantino. And that's an awesome thing to do. I love it. I respect someone who's able to pull it off as well as he did, to get as somewhat close to Tarantino as he did. But at the same time, I want to see your vision. I want to see what you have to offer to us, Drew. Show us at Framerate what you really got.
I'm gonna be a little bit more generous towards this movie. I walked out of it very disappointed, very sad, and proud. Proud of my boy. The 7.5 for me, okay? This had the potential. Everything was there to be great. It could have been over an 8, you know, but it could have at least been an 8. Like, it was so close for me. Like, the pacing was just a little shorter, and it just had a little bit more of Drew's kind of sperm in there. Too much Tarantino jizz in there. But that's also not a bad thing. We're just confused here at Framerate. There isn't too much to say because I feel like I'm losing my mind. This movie's an oddity. 7.5, 7.
I really want to buy this movie, but I'm not going to. And I'm not gonna watch it again because of the Tarantino aspect.
Why see this when you see Hateful Eight?
Exactly. Like, it's you watch Hateful Eight, you're getting this movie just better.
But this movie's still good! It's still good! Go watch it, guys! We're just like the movie. We're just missing something about this review. And that's our explanation of the movie, because we can't describe it that well. But we can, but we just can't do it all the way, just like the movie.
All that truly matters is that Framerate's taken over. We're seeing movies weeks before they come out.
Yeah, just not anything else after this for a while.
We got high, now we're just like, all right, let's lower ourselves to the level of
Jeremy
Jans,
Stuckman.
Stuckman.
They're below us now.
Yeah.
They're scum. We adore you, folks.
See you later.
Bye.
That bitch scratched me.
Fuck you, Tarantino.
What? Come on, son, you can do it. You just gotta get the ball in the goal.
You guys aren't filming, right?
Yeah, we are. I got a meaty bite right there.